guys, I hope you're doing great today. Since I have started posting videos on my YouTube channel, DevOps Molvi, I have been receiving one of the most frequently asked questions in my LinkedIn DMs, LinkedIn messages, in Instagram, and the people are asking, and the students, especially fresh graduates, have been asking the same question, that how we can start our DevOps engineering career, how we can become a DevOps engineer. So what would be our first step to become a DevOps engineer? So most of the times I have been answering them that you must start with learning Linux. Linux is your first step to start your DevOps career. And also they also ask me about if we do not have any experience of DevOps, because fresh graduates do not have any professional experience, how we can land a job in DevOps field, how we can get a DevOps engineering internship opportunity or a junior DevOps engineering opportunity. So I have been giving them answering and also satisfying them, but I got an idea that why not we should ask ChatGPT these questions and see what ChatGPT answers us, and then we can discuss. Honestly, after having this idea in my mind, I thought that I should share what are the responses we get from ChatGPT. I have not asked ChatGPT such questions before, so I thought we should learn what ChatGPT has to say. So this would be a short and quick video, and I have also opened my DevOps Molvi channel, and just for your information guys, the 4 hours of Terraform video course, which is totally for absolute beginners, for freshers, where they can learn all the basics of Terraform, has been posted on my YouTube channel. And also this playlist has been updated with a couple of Terraform videos. And also yesterday I posted Terraform interview questions and answers. So it's a complete Terraform package, so that you can learn everything related to Terraform as a beginner, and you can be confident for DevOps engineering interview when you are applying, and you can expect DevOps Terraform interview questions in any DevOps engineering interview questions, in DevOps engineering interview. So make sure that you watch these videos, and you will learn a lot about Terraform. So coming back to ChatGPT, and what would be our first question? We are going to ask that how I can become a DevOps engineer. So I have opened ChatGPT, and let's ask, hi ChatGPT, how are you doing? How can I start DevOps, DevOps engineering career? Let's see what ChatGPT says. Starting a career in DevOps engineering is an exciting move. It is actually, and especially with the growing demand for automation, cloud, and agile practices. So, guys, this is the answer. If you are going to start your DevOps engineering career, you need to learn automation like CI/CD, Terraform, infrastructure as code. It is also one of the automation tool as well, and continuous integration, continuous deployment, Git, Docker, and cloud like Azure, GCP, or AWS, and agile practices like we are going to cover about agile in our upcoming lectures, but it means that everything is logged. In agile practices, we use ClickUp, we use Jira trackers to track our software development projects and their deadlines, what's going on in any project, what has been done, what is going to be done. So this is actually an overview of how agile workflows or agile projects work. So here is a step-by-step guide to help you get started. This would be amazing. So let's see. And I will I will record and I will try to keep these answers in my mind so that whenever someone asks, I can add these points while answering, because I have been getting such queries a lot. How we can start DevOps engineering career? First, we need to know what is DevOps. DevOps is a set of practices that automate the processes between software development and IT teams, allowing them to build, test, and release software faster and more reliably. So, this is actually DevOps we have already covered, and I hope that as a beginner you know about DevOps. So, guys, it is also answering the same thing that I told you about DevOps engineering. The most basic demands are CI/CD, right? So, continuous integration, continuous deployment, and Terraform. Honestly, I promise you, I didn't see what was the response, and that was actually the same thing I have been telling guys, that you need to learn CI/CD, you need to learn Terraform and Linux, monitoring and logging, and collaboration and automation. So these are actually the core requirements of any DevOps position. So learn core DevOps tool. So what do we need to learn? All right. So this is also one of the most common confusion, I would say, or query, that DevOps information is overwhelmed. YouTube is full with DevOps lectures, DevOps tutorials. I don't know where to start. I'm not sure which would be my first step to start with DevOps. I want to move into DevOps. So we have to learn about version control. We can start with Git, GitHub, GitLab. These both tools have been covered, and CI/CD tools, in which I have covered GitLab CI and GitHub Actions. So there is enough material, by the way, on Jenkins. So people suggested me that to leave Jenkins, we can cover it later, but to start with GitLab CI and GitHub Actions. So there are lectures on my YouTube channel. We have already covered Docker. Now Kubernetes is still in queue, but I want to just let you know that these are the same tools that I would recommend my fellow graduates and my brothers and sisters who want to move into DevOps. If you watch the 9 best DevOps tools for DevOps engineers, every tool is mentioned in that lecture, including Linux as the operating system, because all these DevOps tools run on Linux. So I have mentioned Git, CI/CD, Terraform, Docker, Ansible, and also Kubernetes. Because we already have covered Linux, we have covered Git, GitLab CI, and not Azure pipelines and Circle CI, but it is good to know these CI/CD tools. But if you know at least one or two CI/CD tools, you would be able to work on other CI/CD tools. But we have covered GitLab CI and GitHub Actions pipelines. Those tutorials were beginner level, I know that, and they were having the basic concepts. But we have already covered CI/CD, and we have a 6-hour course on Docker and Ansible and Kubernetes. These two major tools are still in progress. After completing Terraform, I'm going to be starting with Ansible, which is configuration management. And all these tools come under the umbrella of automation. And I would say that DevOps principle is automation. Automation is the key principle of DevOps and Terraform. So also it mentioned about cloud providers. Start with one like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. So if we start with at least one cloud provider, we are good to go. So now, what is point 3? Gain a solid understanding of cloud computing. All right. Uh, Virtual machines and other services are now running as on the cloud platforms, including IaaS, infrastructure as a service, software as a service, platform as a service. So all these services are running on cloud. So this is the main point of ChatGPT, that you have to learn cloud at any cost. You have to learn it as a DevOps engineer. And in cloud, we must know about virtual machines, we must know about networking, and must know about serverless technologies like AWS Lambda and Azure Functions and storage solution. Guys, among these key concepts, this would be a little challenging thing because it needs programming and development concepts. So we are maybe we cover these technologies like AWS Lambda and Azure Functions in our upcoming lectures, but I'm not promising yet. But this is actually, this one is really simple. We have already worked on Azure Blob Container using Terraform and S3 buckets on AWS. So these are the key concepts while working on any cloud platform. These are the king services that you and me, we must know as a DevOps engineer. So now, learn scripting and automation. DevOps engineers automate tasks. So learning a scripting language is essential. And this is literally true because we must know Bash and shell scripting. And if we don't know Bash or shell scripting, we must know Python. Both are almost demanded in every DevOps role. So we have to make sure that we know at least one language. And now these are actually understand networking basics. So we know these concepts during our graduation. So what is IP, DNS, load balancing, firewalls, VPNs, and SSH, and also practice CI/CD pipelines, learn monitoring and logging, build projects. Practice by building small projects. For instance, deploy a website using Docker containers on a cloud platform. We did it in our CI/CD lecture. We deployed a Node.js application that was a demo application on Google Cloud Platform. So this has been done. Automate infrastructure deployment using Terraform. This has been done as well, but we are pending on Ansible. So set up a CI/CD pipeline for a sample application. This has already been completed. So guys, as a beginner, I have been trying to cover every concept, every small project, so that you are ready to go as a and start working as a DevOps engineer. And these are my common thoughts as well, that as a DevOps engineer, instead of learning all 30 plus DevOps tools, we at least know these 6 or 7 major tools. So the key answer of ChatGPT, if I conclude it, is that we must know Linux, we know Git, Docker, Terraform, CI/CD, Kubernetes, and Ansible. And last but not least, we should know about any logging tool and monitoring tool, but literally logging and monitoring is the most easiest part. We have to monitor our application's performance using some key matrices, etc. But as technically, I would say that these are 6 or 7 tools that we must know, and we must start if we want to start our DevOps engineering career, we must start with Linux. That is actually the sequence that I have on my DevOps Roadmap 2024 playlist, in which we are on 34th chapter. So we already have covered Git, we covered Linux, Git, Docker, and CI/CD, and now fifth course was Terraform, and now we are going to move with Ansible. So guys, with the blessings of Allah Almighty, this would be the roadmap that you must follow, and I'm pretty sure that you will be a great DevOps engineer. Now, as far as cloud platforms are concerned, I have not started much with cloud platforms because I wanted to have a base. So we have now on Linux, we know Linux, we know Git, Docker. So now we are moving towards a cloud platform gradually and slowly, because since you saw if you saw my Terraform labs, we have been provisioning infrastructure on Azure and Google Cloud Platform. So I thought that we should also cover cloud platforms along with other automation tools, but there would be dedicated courses and lectures on all these cloud platforms on DevOps Molvi YouTube channel. So I would request that you must be stay tuned on my channel, because we are gradually covering. This is overwhelming, but we have a clear picture that now we have to cover only 6 or 7 DevOps tool as a beginner and one cloud platform. We are good to go to start our DevOps engineering career. I would obviously recommend to have certifications like AWS Solutions Architect Associate, Azure Administrator Associate, or Google Cloud Certified Engineer. And these are beginner level certifications, so we can get started with certifications. And for DevOps Engineer, certifications are mandatory, I would say. Those DevOps engineers with certifications are preferred everywhere. Number 10, join the community, attend DevOps meetups, conferences, and webinars. Join DevOps related forums and Slack groups, follow blogs and podcasts to stay up to date with trends and tools. So these are, by the way, optional, but they can help a lot building our mindsets as for DevOps engineering. Number 11, apply for entry level roles. Look for job titles like DevOps engineer, site reliability engineer, and cloud engineer. Obviously, after completing our graduation, and many companies also offer internships or junior roles focused on DevOps practices. And this is the key part, that we should keep learning. DevOps is evolving itself, so continuous learning is key. Okay, now I will ask that what would be my first step to start DevOps learning. What would be my first step to start DevOps learning? Your first step to start learning DevOps should focus on building a strong foundation in the core principles, tools, and concepts that DevOps engineers use. And it is also the similar response that I think that, like, familiarize yourself with DevOps basics. And I would say that this is the same response. Learn version control basics of Linux. So this is on number 3, but I would say that it should be on number 1, that what we must know how we can start with Linux. And most DevOps tools run on Linux environments. Guys, this is the main point that I wanted to show. And ChatGPT AI is also telling us that every DevOps tool runs on Linux. So knowing basic Linux command is crucial. We must know Linux commands, and like navigating the file system, permissions, managing processes, basic networking commands. So we already have covered 75 plus Linux commands. So learn a scripting language, and the rest of the responses are almost the same, like choosing a cloud platform and setting up a simple CI/CD pipeline, and learning Git, mastering basic Linux commands, Linux bash scripting. So these are actually our first steps. And by the way, on my channel, I have prioritized Linux first, and then we started learning Git on as our second step. So first we learn about Linux. So you can have the sequence of your choice, but this is the actual theme of learning with or starting with DevOps, that we must start with Linux, Git, and bash scripting, or knowing Linux basic commands. So Once you're comfortable with these, you can start branching into more advanced topics like Docker, Kubernetes, and Terraform. Okay, so now I have learned this would be my question again. I have learned basics of DevOps. Now, how can I start my DevOps job? This is also the most common question that I know DevOps tools. I have practiced a lot of DevOps tools and I learned on my laptop. But now I want to start a DevOps job. What should I do? And now that you have learned the basics of DevOps, you are ready to focus on securing your first job in the field. Here are the steps to help you prepare and transition into a DevOps role. So, what are those steps? Build a strong portfolio. We have done it. We have all these tools on our resume. Now, as per the suggestion, we have these basic certifications, optional but helpful. Like I said, we can have these certifications, and these certifications will increase the chances of securing a job at earliest. Now, tailor your resume for DevOps jobs. We must have these tools on our DevOps resume, and apply for entry level positions. So we have to keep looking for these entry level roles like junior DevOps engineer, DevOps intern, and site reliability engineer, cloud engineer. So we have to be on the lookout for these roles and prepare for interviews. So we must be always ready for interviews. So that is why I have been continuously uploading every tools interview question and answers video. And network with DevOps professionals. Guys, this is actually the key part here, that we must add connections on LinkedIn. So guys, this is actually the key part here, that we must keep networking with DevOps professionals. And on LinkedIn especially, we must add like-minded people like DevOps professionals, DevSecOps professionals, cloud engineers, Azure architects, Azure engineers, and cloud engineers, AWS engineers. So it can be very beneficial because most of the people in DevOps field post jobs on their feed, on their personal profile. So if you interact, so if you have a network connection, you will be notified about the positions that most of the DevOps engineers share on their personal profiles, on their feed. So networking is also important. And like I have also shared a video on Upwork, that how we can secure DevOps projects or freelance projects on Upwork. So this is also an option, a great option for us to secure a freelance project. Consider taking on freelance DevOps project or volunteer to help with DevOps in open source or non-profit projects to build your experience further. So in the beginning, we should not be greedy for money or any salaries. So we have to voluntarily work for people in the open source community, but it will have a great impact on our resume. So guys, these were the tips that ChatGPT has shared. So you can have an account on ChatGPT, and I would strongly recommend that if you have any such queries, you should ask ChatGPT as well, and ChatGPT will share the advices that can be very beneficial for us. So that was actually an idea, that what ChatGPT has to say for us. If I want to start my DevOps career, if I want to start with DevOps, what should I do? So you can ask yourself from ChatGPT. Make sure to let me know in the comments. I will see you in the next video. Have a good one, and make sure to subscribe DevOps Molvi. I will see you in the next video. Bye.